Hello everyone. Welcome to the webinar Empowering Academia with GIS and Remote Sensing. Hexagon Safety Infrastructure and Geospatial Division improves the resilience and sustainability of the world's critical services and infrastructure. Our technologies transform complex data about people, places, and assets into meaningful information and capabilities for better, faster decision making in public safety, utilities, defense, transportation, and government verticals. Now, I would like to introduce our speakers. We have Anirban Bhaumik, who is the regional head for East Region in the SIG business of Hexagon. He has close to 15 years of sales and leadership experience in the domain of IT, GIS, enterprise mobility, and application development. He has been working with Hexagon for over 2.5 years, leading the Eastern region. And he has been effectively engaging government customers and academia. Next, we will have Shashank Mathur, who has 24 years of experience with the overall and has been with Hexagon for the past 12 years and leads the pre-sales team for Hexagon. Next, we will have Niladri Banerjee, who has been working in Hexagon since the last 18 years and takes care of technical services and supports East India. He has completed many national and international projects on Hexagon platform, and he is a highly experienced technical resource in Hexagon server and desktop platform, and he's presently the Senior Manager for Technical Services. Before handing it over to our speakers, I would like to mention that if at any point you would like to ask a question, please enter it in our questions box. Our presenters welcome your questions and will address them later in the presentation. In case, due to paucity of time, we are unable to get to all of the questions in our live session, someone will reach out to you after the webinar by email. We also just wanted to let you know that we will be sharing a recording of this webinar after the session. Over to you, Anirban.
Thank you, Divya, for the introduction. Niladri, I would request you to project the screen because I'm not able to see it.
Right, Anirban, I just reshare it.
Yeah.
Is it visible now?
I think it is coming. Not yet, Niladri. Yeah, it is visible now. Thank you so much. Okay. Thank you, Divya, for the quick introduction about Hexagon and the team members today who will be doing the presentation or rather driving the webinar for empowering academia with GIS and remote sensing. So I will drive you through the agenda, but before that, a brief introduction about me. I'm Anirban Bhaumik. I am working as the regional head for Eastern region for Hexagon SIG business. And I'm primarily taking care of the government as well as the education and academia accounts in my region and across. So today I'll be starting the presentation by setting up the agenda. We would be first giving you a brief description about Hexagon, who we are and what we do. And then I will discuss about the required skill sets for students, researchers in the geospatial industry. And then we will discuss about the various opportunities that's lying in the GIS and remote sensing industry, especially when it comes to academia, educational institutions, R&D institutions. And then we will be driving deeply into the technical sessions where we will be discussing about the geospatial portfolio of Hexagon, the geospatial offering of Hexagon SIG division. And then we will discuss about certain use cases. Use cases means some of the experiences that we had out of delivering many mission critical projects across the nation and developing certain geospatial portals and geospatial driving the geospatial technology from the front. So we will be discussing about these use cases. Then we will give you a software description of the software that Hexagon is the OEM of, that is the original equipment manufacturer. We are having a certain software with us, which we indigenously manufacture. We will discuss about that. Then very recent trend, and which is the call of the hour, UAV data processing using our platform. We will show you how to do that, and then we will have a Q&A session. So with this, I'm So I've set the agenda, and Niladri, if you could go to the next slide. Okay. So let me give you a brief about Hexagon. So at Hexagon, we work with the firm belief that shaping smart change in action is the right way forward. So Hexagon is a global leader in digital reality solution, which combines sensors, software, and autonomous technologies to solve complex real-world problems. And that is what drives us to create this niche products and optimize the various solutions, especially when it comes to engineering and technology. So we put the data at work to boost the efficiency of the data, the productivity that is required out of the data, and then we also deliver the quality, the safety, and sustainability using this data and gathering a lot of information and doing a lot of analysis on the data across various industries and societies around the globe. So at Hexagon AB, we operate at a scale with revenue of over 5.4 billion euro, and we have more than 24,500 employees across 50 plus countries that we operate. We prioritize the innovation, and that is, in the DNA of Hexagon. And that is why we have more than 5,000 patents that is registered worldwide. We also ensure that we allocate around 10 to 12% of our revenue to R&D. And more than 6,000 employees are there in the R&D who are driving this innovation from the forefront. So we also drive this sustainable progress. We operate within the 9 ecosystems and we operate across 27 industries. Next slide. Niladri, next slide. Thank you. So if you see, Hexagon has 5 product divisions. So Hexagon is a global conglomerate. We have 5 product divisions within Hexagon. One is the manufacturing intelligence. Next is the asset lifecycle intelligence. We will also talk about geosystems. We will talk about autonomous solutions. And finally, our division, which is safety infrastructure and geospatial. So every division is unique in their way, and every division offers a unique portfolio of product and solutions in Hexagon. So in manufacturing intelligence, we explore solutions that actually enable manufacturers to, assess, analyze, and actively leverage the data from all key stages of this manufacturing process. It empowers better decision making. So Hexagon's MI has a wide range of product portfolio. It ranges from CNC simulation software, then we have CAD/CAM software, we have metrology hardware for measurement and inspection. We have launched an open cloud-based digital reality platform, which is called Nexus, and it actually collaborates. It is basically a collaboration between Hexagon and the various manufacturers who can share their data on a real time, allowing them a higher level of visibility and especially when it comes to design and manufacturing decision making process. You will be amazed to know that these projects where manufacturing intelligence is involved, it ranges from NASA's original moon mission to ISRO's Chandrayaan to the NASA's Mars Perseverance mission. If you would like to know about this, I can tell you more about this. But for the time being, I would tell you that the ropes and the landing mechanism, which was used, especially in the Perseverance rover, that was simulated using the MSc Adam software, which is a Hexagon multi-body dynamics simulation software. And even if you know about the F1, Formula One racing, you will be amazed to know this fact that Hexagon plays a very vital role in the success of the number 1 F1 team, which is the Red Bull Racing. We make around 20,000 design changes per season, and we reduce their faults by over 50%, which makes a very unique proposition when it comes to manufacturing intelligence. In asset lifecycle intelligence, we offer smart digital reality. We offer 3D design and visualization. We offer enterprise asset management solution. And we drive across these verticals, namely the energy and power, petrochemical, semiconductors, pharmaceutical, and logistics. Hexagon Geosystems, our a very important division. It is a wholly owned subsidiary of a very famously known organization called Leica Geosystems, and it is a Hexagon Group company. So Hexagon Geosystems is a leading company when it comes to the field of surveying and precision measuring solutions. So they offer positioning technologies, which includes geodesy, high-end GPS, and high-definition surveying systems. There are highly effective solutions that they have. And if you see that Hexagon Geosystems has delivered a very important mission critical project in especially this project is called Swamitva. This is a Survey of India's flagship project, which they have been a core part of the Swamitva project. And they established the DGNSS survey using the CORS network. So Hexagon Geosystems and all of this, divisional structures that I discussed, they have their own service centers and own R&D centers across various locations in India. In autonomous solutions, we are there in mining, we are there in agriculture, we are there in automotive solution, we are there in defense, we are there in marine positioning. And when it comes to precision agriculture or precision mining, where you want to identify a situation or identify a location using precision technologies, autonomous solution is the key to this. So Hexagon technology is running in the autonomous vehicles. They are running in the space missions. They are running in the next generation aircrafts to navigate through the entire airspace. So autonomous solutions is being used. And finally, coming to the divisional structure, which is called Hexagon Safety Infrastructure and Geospatial. This is our division, and primarily we are driving this division, and we offer a complete suite of GIS, imagery analysis, and data management. Uh, Hexagon SIG has been globally renowned as the OEM of a large, portfolio of software which we manufacture. And this software, you must have heard of these names called Ardus Imagine, Geomedia, Luciad, uh, IMAP Enterprise, Exalt, Ardus Apollo, the GIS server software. All these are part of Hexagon Safety Infrastructure and Geospatial. We also have a command control and a CAD software, which is computer aided dispatch software, which is called Hexagon iCAD, which is specially used when it comes in the setting up of a command control center for any disaster management or maybe any smart cities. So Hexagon SIG as a division, it has delivered many mission critical projects. We have been there in NMCG, which is the National Mission for Clean Ganga. We are there in PM Gati Shakti. We are there in the Smart Cities mission, where many smart cities are driving Hexagon technologies. We are there in Swamitva. We are there in Amrut. We are there in National Hydrology Project. In HP, we are there in the National Infrastructure Pipeline projects. So Hexagon's geospatial portfolio is very big, and it is, many esteemed and specialized organizations has been the part of the portfolio. And we work primarily in, verticals like defense. Their customers like Forest Survey of India, any space application center, ISRO, IRS, mostly many of the IITs and NITs, they have been, part of the Hexagon geospatial vertical. So next slide, Niladri. Niladri, next slide. Thank you. So if you see Hexagon's presence in India, we are present across 18 cities. There are 15 offices in Hexagon, and we have been working through 11 service centers. and more than 3,000 employees are there, out of which we can proudly say that there is a Hexagon Capability Center in India, which is called HCCI. It is located in Hyderabad, and HCCI is our single largest R&D hub with a workforce of nearly 2,000 plus people, and it is growing. Next slide. Thank you. So these are the required skill sets for the students and researchers in the geospatial industry. If you see geospatial technologies, they are growing in leap and bounds. And it is being powered by the cloud-based infrastructure as well as on-premises server. So students and researchers, they require this technology and they really need to hone their analytical skills. They learn about processing large quantity of data and extract raw spatial information. Also, they learn about to create, update, and analyze very various and valuable geospatial information. So, delivering dynamic analysis and mapping products. The skills that is required, especially in remote sensing, it is a decision-making skill where land and urban planners, it is an example that I'm providing you. They monitor and support the decision-making for a sustainable urban development. And then you have data analysis skills, which you should look out for, where data producers, they use the photogrammetric tools to streamline the rectification processing workflows. And there are a lot of transportation analysis and a lot of urban analysis. They can do a regular monitoring of the data using the geospatial tools. And important is the quick response system, where defense analysts, they discover specific activities to support certain field operations and they react to events quickly. This is also important when it comes to the disaster management scenario where quick response is required, and GIS and remote sensing is an integral part of that. So the skills that you require for GIS is no more a mapping industry or a cartography industry. It is much, much, much more than that. So, in addition to map production, there are local and regional governments who are driving many mission projects under the state government or under the central government, where the GIS skills are required. And when it comes to automation, some utility organization, rather many of the utility organization, be it in power, be it in gas, or be it in any other telecom utility, they also automate the management workflows and the networks and infrastructure using GIS. Next slide. Thank you. So, if you see this are the opportunities which we have described. It's although it is not a complete list, not an exhaustive list, but you can always refer to this list. If you see that the Department of Science and Technology, DST, Government of India, they have a total. They have predicted that there would be a total domestic geospatial market. It should reach around 1 lakh crores by 2030, and it is published in their reports. Now, with the various policy environment that the government of India is bringing in, and the gradual transition that is happening from the industry in the industry to offer the services and solutions to the worldwide market, we believe, and not only we, it is also the government of India, they believe that more than 1 lakh jobs will be available in the market in both government and private sectors by 2030. So the geospatial market is growing and it will grow perpetually. So the career opportunities which we believe in the geospatial market exist. It is GIS analyst is there, remote sensing specialist is there, geospatial data scientist, surveyor, cartographer, GIS programmer. This is a very important skill to learn. Spatial analyst, environmental planner, urban planner, disaster management specialist with the many disasters that is happening. A disaster management specialist is a very important role nowadays. And apart from that, education institutions always have research scientists, and many training and workshops are done in research collaboration. The industries which are employing geospatial technology, which are recruiting people from the geospatial technology, they are primarily the town and country planning department. Then there is surveying, there is forestry, agriculture, land records. It is in a boom. Then utilities. There are a lot of projects which is running in utilities, especially, and the entire infrastructure is being set up in India for utilities. So a lot of jobs there. Agriculture, public safety, government, defense, mapping, geospatial. All these industries are the industries to look out for. Okay. So with this, I believe that first part of the presentation that I have delivered, and I would like to introduce you to Mr. Shashank Mathur, who is the senior most pre-sales member, and he heads the pre-sales division in Hexagon SIG. He would give you a brief description about the geospatial portfolio of Hexagon. So over to you, Shashank.
Thank you, Nirvan. Thanks a lot for very good detail about the Hexagon and about the prerequisite of the geospatial and the career opportunity in the geospatial. So I hope I am clear, loud and clear. So here I will talk about the geospatial portfolio and some of the use cases on the geospatial portfolio what we have in Hexagon. So Nilatri, please, can you please go to the next slide? So this is the very important slide, which is basically describing the geospatial value chain. In geospatial value chain, basically, if you see in the entire geospatial projects, you have there are multiple stages. Like you have to capture the information from the field, you have to process that information and share that information, develop some applications. So basically, in Hexagon, we provide this entire, we cover this entire geospatial value chain by providing the various equipment, the softwares, and the solutions to cover all these parts of the value chain. Like we are from the Leica system, from the Geo system, we are providing the sensors, the total stations, the DGPS devices, the LiDAR scanners to capture the data from the field. And then we have a GIS remote sensing software, the server-based software, using which we process the data and we disseminate the data as a interoperable services. And those services can be integrated in a mobile application, the desktop application, tablet-based, browser-based, and even we have a portfolio which we will discuss in the next slide. So you can configure and develop the application for various verticals like the transportation industries, the forest industries, agriculture, land record. So you can develop those applications using that portfolio. So Niladri, please, next slide. Yeah. So in geospatial portfolio, we have three type of portfolio. One is the power portfolio. The power portfolio provides you the ready-made, custom of the shelf softwares, the tools for processing of GIS data, analysis of GIS data, the remote analysis and processing of remote sensing, LiDAR, UAV data. So those data you can process, you can analyze, you can manage it in a centralized location, disseminate as a interoperable services. So this power portfolio provides you the custom of the shelf software using which you can do all these operations. Now coming to the MF portfolio, basically whatever value added products you have developed using the power portfolio or from any of the environment, you can utilize those products and you can configure the various kind of applications. Like you have generated some elevation model, you have generated some land use cover. So using those various themes, various products, you can configure the various kind of applications like the browser-based application, the geoprocessing application, 3D city application, the rich client application, the mobile app. So using the MF portfolio, basically you can configure. So it is basically a low code platform where you don't have to develop any application or to write any code. So you just need a configuration. So all ready-made widgets are available for the configuration. In the Luciad portfolio, sorry, previous slide. Yeah, in the Luciad portfolio, we have the desktop, browser, mobile, server, all these tiers, but it provides you the library so that you can develop the application using the data what you have processed in the previous in the Power portfolio, and you have published the services. Using those services and the data, you can configure you can develop the application, the real-time situational awareness application you can develop here. So with this portfolio, Niladri, next slide, please. So with this portfolio, we have implemented various use cases. So some of the few of the use cases, actually the keeping the time, the limited time in mind. So we are just discussing here the few use cases like agriculture, the forest, land record, some urban planning use cases. So those use cases we will cover here. So in let's first talk about the agriculture use case. So in agriculture use case, we have utilized our RS Engine, which is the flagship product of Hexagon, the RS Engine for image processing. It also provides you the LiDAR data processing, the UAV processing, and also there is a module for photogrammetry the analysis in creating the 3D models. So we have used this the GeoMedia, which is GIS. So we have used this GIS photogrammetry and the image processing software for the agriculture mapping, crop identification, claim settlement assessment, and even you can compare the various multi-date images, and you can find out the changes in the crop field in the or the you can identify the crop growth. And you can run those analysis. Yeah. Niladri, next slide, please. In forestry use case, we have implemented various applications in forestry, basically the afforestation, the forest cover change, the plantation monitoring application, plantation suitability application, the illegal encroachment applications. So human animal applications. So these applications are built on our portfolio using the RDAS Imagine, the server portfolio like RDAS Apollo, the MAP portfolio, and we have a mobile app also. So using for, let's say, for example, there is a human man and human animal conflict. So to report those cases, we need a mobile app. So we also provide the mobile app where you capture citizens or the villagers can capture the incident along with the photograph, along with the location and other details, and that will be ingested in the centralized database in the centralized portal, and that can be utilized as those photographs, the information can be utilized for the assessment of the damage and the how it can be if once you assess the damage, when you analyze the damage, how will you will compensate those damages. So those things can be analyzed. Similarly, for forest fire, you can analyze that what are locations of forest fire, how much area is impacted in the forest fire. So those analysis you can perform here in the forest using the forest fire incidents and the forest fire information. Next slide, please. Niladri, next slide. Next slide. Niladri? Yeah, thank you so much. So coming to the land record solution. So in the land record solution, basically what all we need is, one is the cadastral map digitization. So we have the solution, the desktop and the server-based solution like GeoMedia, AMAP Enterprise, where you can capture the map data, you can digitize the map data precisely. The CAD-like tools are available, like it provides you all snapping tools, the boundary snapping, perpendicular snapping, intersection snapping, all kind of snapping it provides you, so that you can capture the land record information with precision, with high accuracy. So yeah, next please. Even let's say somebody has digitized the part of the land record parcels in a different platform, and you want to merge that those parcels along with your map. So we have a solution for the fabric adjustment, where you can like it is similar to the georeferencing process, where you can adjust the fabric, you can and merge the external parcels in your existing maps. Yeah, so the data coming from the field book, like the field book, the data can come like a bearing, azimuth, and the coordinates. So those data can come as a field book, and then we have a COGO tool using which you can enter the field book measurement information in the COGO tool, and then you can draw the parcels in the software. So which is the which provides you the accuracy and the precision both. Again, coming to the total station and the DGPS data, so that can also be ingested. It can be directly imported in the system, and you can plot those information. So this is basically how the data is being prepared. Once the data you have prepared, now the main task is to validate the data. If the data is coming from the various sources, you need to check the data whether the data is topologically corrected or not. So we provide all the tools to check and validate the topology and correct that topology. Yeah, please. Next slide, please. Again, once you correct the data, validate the data, capture the data, then the next task is to integrate this data with the records of right information, which is basically the ownership detail. So which provides you the information about the ownership, the type of land use for the parcel. So those things are available as a records of right data. You can integrate directly on the fly in the with the parcel data, and you can publish this information for the various kind of applications where the land records are being utilized. So you can publish this information as a the interoperable OGC compliant services, or you can configure or develop the application for the land record or for other applications. Yeah. Next slide, please. Again, this is again a portal, like let's say if you want to monitor the status, the village wise, or the team wise, like the Patwari or the there are multiple reporting structure, like the Patwari is there, the sub district is there, district is there. So district wise, village wise, Patwari wise. So those you can monitor the status of the parcel digitization progress, or the parcel analysis process progress. So those progress you can monitor here on the dashboard. Yeah, next slide, please. Coming to the planning. In the planning, so basically, you can do the city level planning. Like you have the master plan. Once you have to convert the master plan by digitizing it in the GIS layers. And once you have the GIS layers, you can configure the application where you can run various kind of analysis, the ward wise analysis, the zone wise analysis, and you can identify that how much area is in residential, how much area is in commercial. Even let's say you want to further plan your city. So you have everything you have in a digital format. So you can request for the change of the land use. You can modify the land use. You can create the new land use for using the new area. So those kind of applications, or you can perform here in the city planning. Even you can also check the check the growth of the city development, whether it is in line with the master plan or not. So those things you can perform here in the applications. And you can plan your water distribution, the waste management on top of this planning. Yeah, next slide, please. Again, using the 3D city model, you can plan your local area or the buildings. So it provides you all the features to plan the buildings. Let's say I want to plan a particular building on a particular site. Now I have to check how this building is affecting or impacting the other area, other properties of the area. So whether it is interrupting the sun rays or how it is impacting. So you can decide which is the suitable position, which is the what should be the suitable height here. So those things you can decide, you can plan as a town planner in the in this 3D city and type of application. Even you can also define develop the application for the NOC purpose, like what should be the building the building height is permissible and what is not. So those heights, if it is under permissible height, so that height is appropriate, and then you can plan your building accordingly as per that height. So those things you can plan here. So those were some of the use cases. We have more use cases, and if you want the detail of those use cases, we can discuss later offline, and the detail of the product using which we have developed these use cases. So I request Niladri to talk about the detail of those products.
So thank you, Shashank. Well, I think am I loud and clear?
Yes, Niladri, we can hear you.
Right. Thank you. Thank you. So let me, take you through all the platform is nicely said by Anirban and Shashank. So, we have seen very interesting use cases. Now, let me take you all through the some of the software products which is being described by Shashank in the portfolio segment, that what all we have and how better using those software we can achieve those use cases. So let me take you through this portfolio. For the sake of good bandwidth, with all your permission, I'm just switching off my camera so that we have a good visibility in the presentation. So I think my screen is visible.
Yes, Niladri.
Fine. So here, basically what we are offering this particular webinar is typically focused to the academia segment. So where we are addressing mostly the academic people here, the respected faculty members and the respected students and scholars. So for them, what we are offering in the remote sensing for education product suite. So here we are offering one of our flagship product called RS Imagine. And along with that, we are also giving certain specific add-on modules which are very useful in nature. Like, for example, Imagine Expansion Pack. So which is very useful for creating the change detection, automatic image to image rectification. So many students and scholars, they face very problem while georeferencing certain products. If they have two different scenes and multiple scenes are coming from change detection, so they have to run the georeferencing process many times manually, which becomes a painful job while taking the GCPs, many number of GCPs. So AutoSync will reduce the job up to the 80% level, where it will automatically generate a lot of ground control points and it will reference the images very accurately. Also, Imagine Expansion Pack contains a very nice change detection module, which is advanced change detection module, which gives you the various changes on the various components, like tassel cap based, like image magnitude based change detections, color based change detections. And also we can choose various algorithms with respect to the percent of changes what is happening in the image. Then also we have the ortho radar, ortho rectification of SAR data. SAR data, while when the Sentinel-1 was on board, the usage of SAR data has increased many folds, specifically in the academia segment, because that's a freely available SAR data and which is having almost 25-meter resolution, which is good also in terms of resolution, and it is giving up to date latest data sets. So that these are the couple of very important modules which we are providing under the expansion pack. Also, we are giving the ER mapper, which is one more additional software as a remote sensing. Then we are also providing imagine photogrammetry. So photogrammetry, we all know when it comes about the DEM, that is digital elevation model, digital terrain model, contour generation, high precision contour generation from satellite images, also the drone images, and as well as the aerial images. So imagine photogrammetry plays a very important role. Just to let you know, probably you all have seen the Survey of India topo sheet. Please understand each and every feature of the topo sheet is being captured using imagine photogrammetry. Survey of India has benchmarked the software, and then they have started using our imagine photogrammetry software. Then imagine DSM extractor will extract you automatic digital terrain model or digital elevation model just in a flash of seconds, even if you have hundreds of images in a particular block. And terrain editor will help you to edit those terrains as per the true ground scenario. So that's a complete compact offering from Hexagon, which caters all aspects of remote sensing, photogrammetry, and data extraction from high resolution data. Now let me take you through the ADAS Imagine. I believe most of you are user of the ADAS Imagine, but still, so ADAS Imagine nowadays is basically a platform which is capable to leverage all kind of geospatial data. So be it a SAR data, be it a optical data, be it LiDAR data, any kind of data, so it can well leverage. Most importantly, we have introduced the new spatial modeler, which is well capable to operate simultaneously on SAR data, optical data, and LiDAR data as well, and give you the exact information. Not only that, if when we talk about the remote sensing, the digital image processing, all kinds of the processing which we name or we feel like image enhancement, photogrammetric and ortho rectification, pan sharpening, intervisibility, view shed, proximity analysis, hyperspectral image processing, vegetation and mineral indices, image classification, change detection, and also the talk of the day, which is AI and ML. Everything is fully supported, and all the latest algorithms are being provided into 2023, which is the latest version as on date we are talking. Most importantly, the vegetation and mineral indices. Again, with the usage of Landsat 8, Landsat 9, Sentinel 2 data, and also Sentinel 3 data. So many indices, many spatial recipes, and many algorithms you can leverage in this component. Then, as I said, that machine learning, so AI and ML, artificial intelligence and machine learning, and also a high precision or next level of the machine learning, which is called as deep learning, all are supported in the in our ADAS Imagine platform in form of spatial model. So where we can use this as for feature extraction, we can use any kind of classification or labeling, and also we can use this kind of modern AI ML tools for the change detection. So SAR interferometry and imagine objective. Well, these two are definitely not are the package of add-on, but still we would like to describe, because as I said, when we have a free data source like Sentinel-1, then Hexagon has a fully supported module which is called SAR interferometry. So on that, we are definitely aware of certain technologies called INSAR, interferometric SAR, which creates elevation model from the DEM, SAR pair, and differential interferometry, and all these kind of technologies can be jolly well you can achieve using SAR interferometry. Imagine objective is basically object-based change detections. These two are the add-on module, but yes, definitely it can be punched within the education modules and as per the requirement of the end users. So GIS part, in GIS we are offering the GeoMedia Professional, which already Shashank described some of the slides of that. It is very advanced and state-of-the-art GIS software. The key feature of the GeoMedia is that it is data format, so quote unquote data format agnostic. It doesn't have any kind of intake format or output format. So anything you ingest, like database, like KML, like shapefile, like file zero database, anything you insert, it can take that as an input and it can work on it, and definitely it can give you many outputs, right? So also good part is that there are many softwares available in the market which requires maybe a middleware to connect with the database, but the GeoMedia, which we are talking about, it can directly connect any kind of database, and also it can put a direct query on the database and get the results for you, which will give you a dynamic feel, right? If we change certain parameter, my entire analysis will be changed. So that is known as the dynamic query and dynamic changes, so which is totally supported in GeoMedia. So we also have an offering just like remote sensing for education. We have an offering for GIS and education where we are offering GeoMedia Professional, Transportation Manager, GeoMedia Motion Video Analyst Professional, and also GeoMedia Advanced Collection. So this advanced feature collection is mainly used for the cartographic, feature collection. Transportation Manager, the name itself is explanatory when we are talking about the road networking, and we are talking about the transportation network, best path, shortest path, etc., that we can get out of these transportation manager. Motion video analyst is that when we have a UAV or drone flying and we got the live feed from that and we want to integrate that feed into a GIS platform, so motion video analyst plays a role there. That's a very unique module for all kind of users. Like mostly you can use it in case of disaster management. So there is just a small video which shows one of the advanced functions of GeoMedia called as tracing. So here we can connect with the background database. We can fetch the data. We can call that data. We have connected here with the satellite imageries, and over that we have the water pipelines. Here we are using utility function, so it does support the utility as default. So here we have put a query that if X part is basically shortage of supply, then what are the places which will have a fall in supply. Next, we have the EDAS Apollo with us. So EDAS Apollo is a comprehensive data management solution, and it is only one of its own which is having a tool called crawling. Oh, what is crawling? When all the universities, colleges, whoever is working with the geospatial segment, we have many imageries you are working on for years and years. Now all the imageries are lying with you, ideally in a flat file or somewhere in the your DVD drives. But what we can do is that we can put all these geospatial imageries and geospatial data into a centralized server and create a digital data cataloging and repository system. So where we can crawl means record the file path, record all the informations, catalog them in a proper way with certain keywords, and we can describe them with a proper metadata. Later on, we have a interface like this which is displayed in my screen, and once we just hit a simple search button, say I need a data of maybe Bhubaneswar, or maybe somewhere in Guwahati, or maybe somewhere in Kolkata, I just type the name, automatically all the associated data will be displayed in front of me. So that's the power of EDAS Apollo. And also it can create some of the services, what we all know, the OGC compliant services. Nowadays OGC is Open Geospatial Consortium. The idea is that in desktop we have many formats, so maybe any format is provided by a particular software. I may not be owning that kind of software, so how do I leverage the data? So in that Open Geospatial Consortium, they have transferred the concept from, rather than from a file to a service, where there are some OGC compliant services has to be generated by the software, and those services can be consumed by any of the users or any of the background users as per their requirement. So Apollo can generate all these kind of OGC services with the cataloged data. So Map Enterprise is another enterprise platform. In previous slides in use case, you might have seen certain dashboard. So Map Enterprise is majorly used for the dashboard. Not only that, it provides three different kind of user interface and user experience, we would rather say. One is rich client. So in enterprise level, web-based level, there are certain images which are available user uses or needs a rigorous digitization, so they can use the reach client. Anybody who's working on field with a mobile app, so they can use the mobile interface of the map enterprise. And also who's just want to see the overall progress monitoring, put some little bit of query, fetch the data and be happy with it, then they can use the web browser where he can leverage some of the 3D data as well. Now it can intake all kinds of basic flat files, all kinds of GIS and RS data, everything. It can be uploaded and delivered to the end user as per their requirement. So that's one of the screenshot of the map enterprise where we are dynamically creating certain hotspots. This is the case of accident prone zone. The accident prone zone can be divided in terms of the time of the day, maybe the day of the week, or maybe week of the month. So which areas are hotspot based on what incidents the accident is happening, everything, and then we can filter out particular incidents. And as we know, the Hexagon basically provides the sensors and softwares both. So what we can do is using all our sensor, if we have a 3D scan of the that particular area, then we can upload that entire 3D scan data into this map enterprise platform and convert this into a 3D world, and we can do the measurements. Here we are describing an accident scenario where a car has crashed on bike, and what is the distance and all kinds of measurement and everything can be done to replicate the actual scenario, what has happened on the field. So those users who are working with the mobile, so for them we have a mobile app as discussed. So where we can fill up certain amount of forms and also certain amount of information, and then obviously to prove the logic or properly record the ground scenario, we can write some comment, and if required we have a camera option here, so we can open up the camera and also take a field photograph and submit that for the further approval or recording of the real world scenario. So we have a Luciad portfolio. Whenever we have to see the changes with respect to time, then the Luciad platform is the best platform. Let me tell you, there are various crucial customers of ours like Lufthansa. They are managing their entire fleet using this Luciad. So here one use case we are just portraying, which is the most sound polluting area of the cities. This is a city, so that it is being scanned in a 3D way, and we have created a digital reality, and then we have various street view modes, and we can see which train, which buses are going through which streets, and which is near to the residential area and creating more noise and thus creating a sound pollution. So coming back to the drone, as we all know that drone data are very much in use. So what is drone and all, we are very much aware of it, but to have a glimpse what are the usage: disaster managements, oil and gases, crop analysis, forestry, reconnaissance mapping, mining activity mapping, water resources mapping. Everywhere we have a definite use of drone. So we offer a state-of-the-art solution called Imagine UAV, which can intake any kind of drone data, be it a fixed drone or rotary drone, and it can process on the data. Now, when I talk about the processing, it's a simple workflow of process, and it's a very easy to use interface. Good for students, good for academia. Just you insert the input folder where all the data are there, fill up some of the very basic parameters. Now, once you choose the particular drone type and the data type, automatically our library will fetch all the pre-programmed datasets and their parameters, and it will run the process. So what are the expected outputs we can get from the drone? That is orthophoto, orthomosaics, DEM, point cloud data, etc. And there are modern days using Imagine photogrammetry and drone, Imagine UAV, that will give the another level of leverage to the user, that if you have some of the photogrammetric analysis required, like contouring from the drone data, accurate elevation extraction of the drone data, so that drone data can be taken, the Imagine UAV data can be taken into Imagine photogrammetry also, which is a part of the educational bundle, and you can leverage the drone data one step higher. So that is a good part of using Imagine UAV software. Then certain use cases like mining and quarry mapping, where the exact mine dumps and all can be measured. Illegal activities in the mining areas, riverbed digging, etc. Riverbed mining, that can also be monitored. The site selection, because there are very much landslide prone zones in our northeastern areas and northern areas. So what are the places where people should build their house and all these kind of things. Architecture and engineering and planning. So if we design maybe roadways or flyovers, so that can also be designed using the drone data, because it gives a high resolution digital elevation model up to 10 centimeter, 5 centimeter, etc. So, and also survey and mapping, when it comes to a high scale mapping of a small area with precise accuracy, then drone data can obviously be used. Even it is being used to update the some of the land records and Moja maps. So just to talk about for a few minutes on the modern trends in remote sensing and GIS, we all know the National Geospatial Policy, which talks about the liberalization of the data, of the geospatial data or the high resolution data. So more and more the geospatial policy will come into play. More and more the geospatial market will expand. More and more private sector invention will be there, intervention will be there, and more imagery exploitation will be there. Imagery usage of imagery will increase. So in that tune only, we have projected first the flagship image processing software, which is called ADAS Imagine, and the photogrammetry software as well, which is Imagine Photogrammetry. Job opportunities, this is being already described, so I'm not going into it. Definitely AI ML is going to take a bigger space in our geospatial domain in form of the automated feature recognition, spatial pattern recognition, automated data processing, predictive analysis. Mostly the predictive analysis is being already in use in terms of the disease prediction in the crop, then crop production prediction, like that. Like these are the few cases. And also, the predictive analysis are also being used in certain cases of weather predictions as well. So nowadays we can see a better prediction model. These are all the usage of the AI and ML technology. There are certain, nationwide projects which are going on, like Amrut. So it talks about the providing the urban facilities or strengthening the basic urban facilities like water supplies, sewages, transports, parks, etc. So it has got the planning and planning phase, implementation phase, operation and maintenance phase. So all the phases, geospatial technology is an integral part. So for starting from site selection to deployment to further operation and maintenance and monitoring, the drone data can be used, satellite data can be used, and also all kind of maps, existing and new maps can be used and built. So here this is a big market or big place for the, which will create the job in future more and more. Then Jal Jeevan Mission, we have the objective is that to provide fresh water, fresh drinking water to every household. So also it requires the entire geospatial portfolio for the mapping, like finding the water resources, setting up the site suitability for proper infrastructure, water monitoring, and also whatever asset will be built in terms of the pumping stations, pipelines, etc., etc. The entire monitoring has to be there in operation and monitoring phase using the GIS platform. The Blue Revolution, which is a flagship project of India, which is basically the increase of fish productivities in the fresh water. So it also requires the mapping of water bodies where satellite imageries are being used in various states, including West Bengal, in a larger scale. And many big SIs and big companies who are working on this field, in Blue Revolution, and they are basically generating a good amount of employment there. So let me go to the my next slide, which talks about certain logos, which are basically, building a lot of, employment in terms of these geospatial enthusiasts, because they are taking up all the big projects as the SI system integrator or the execution nodal person or the project management consultants. So the Samrut, then JJM and everything, they have got a project management consultants who are having dedicated position and post for GIS expert, GIS analyst, remote sensing expert, remote sensing analyst, etc. So with that, I conclude my part, and we are open to Q&A and handing over the session to Divya.
Thank you so much, Nadi. So now we will take a few questions from the audience. If you have any questions, you can put them in the questions box. So the first question that we have is, how does GIS help in mines?
Well, right. Basically, there are when you talk about the mining activity nowadays, there is a policy from the central ministry that in every aspect the GIS map has to be there. It should be validated using the GIS. Number one, what should be validated? Number one, the day to day activity on the production. So there is a drone flying has to be there, and using the drone data, the photogrammetric, that has to be a photogrammetric drone, please remember that. And you flying the photogrammetric drone data, the query, the mine dump has to be analyzed, and then what is the volume of the production that has to be validated every day. So that is number one. Number two is that the environmental impact assessment. So when we talk about, see, let us not segregate this as GIS or remote sensing. Let us segregate this as rather let us call it as a geospatial field, because nowadays there is no such thing called something GIS, something remote sensing, right? It's all integrated now. So when we talk about the geospatial, then there is something called a very important factor called environmental impact assessment. When there is a mining, there is a destruction of the trees, there is a destruction of the topsoil and the ecology there. So there is a mandate whenever mine is closed, then that all the destruction has to be restored by the mining company. So how far the mining has gone, how far the destruction is being restored, that has to be mapped with geospatial technology using satellite imagery, drone imagery, and using this kind of remote sensing softwares. And every half yearly and quarterly, the report has to be produced to the Central Ministry of Mines by all the mining departments. That's a mandate. And number three, that whenever we have certain illegal mining, so that is every mining has an area. So within that area, allocated area, the companies who has taken the lease, they have to mine. Now, if the company by mistake, whether they are going beyond the areas, or maybe there are certain localities which is operating some private mines out of the mining area which has not been given as a lease. So these has to be monitored periodically, again every quarterly and half yearly, and that report has to be sent to the Ministry of Mines. So these are the recorded rule set, rather is in practice nowadays. So that's how the my GIS and remote sensing, rather geospatial technology, helping mining industry.
Thanks, Niladri. Niladri, before I take the next question, I would request you to put up the slide where we have the email addresses in case somebody wants to
Right,
connect. So we
right,
have
sure.
one question about Odas Imagine. A university, Pancham Burma, has purchased a few licenses
Yeah,
and they want to get a training on that. Maybe they can reach out on this email address and discuss
so
this further.
fine. Yeah, Divya, I'll take this. See, if
Yeah.
to Nazrul. So, Nazrul, if you have taken the licenses for Orders Imagine and training is being should be provided to you, so you get in touch with me and Ladri, and you send us a mail. We will get back to you immediately.
So, Nirvan. So next question we have is, how accurate is the interpolation data generated by GIS with respect to seeing the change in trends and variability?
Well, there are when we talk about the changes, there are two different kind of changes. One we is horizontal changes, that is changes in X and Y, which is the spatial change we can identify from the satellite imageries. Like previously there was forest, right now there is no forest. Previously there was water body, now is illegally or maybe in any other ways that is being filled up. So that is one change. Or maybe there is no built up area, now there is a built up area. And also there are changes in terms of the Z values, which is the elevation. So the elevation changes mainly happen due to certain construction, major construction activities like road in the hilly terrain, or maybe the landslide due to the disaster phenomena, or maybe certain flood has come, which is breached the embankment of any river, something like that. So both can be accurately calculated because nowadays, whatever the satellite imageries we are having, they are very high resolution, number one. So up to 50 centimeter data, again, I go back to the geospatial policy. Earlier, the concept was there that maybe 20 meters, 30 meters data, 23.5 meter, which is release 3 data. So those were only being allowed for the general users, and high resolution data used to be under the custodian of the government bodies. But with the latest geospatial policy, anybody can have the data up to 50 centimeter resolution. So when I talk about the high resolution, obviously the accuracy level will be higher. The software basically doesn't have anything to do with the accuracy, because the accuracy means what we talk about, the spatial accuracy, X and Y shifting, and Z deviation. So the more accurate or more high resolution data you provide in the software, more accurate output you will get from the software.
Thanks, Niraji. So we have one more question, which is among the MAP Power and Lucia portfolios, are there any open source portfolios or other APIs developed by Hexagon which can be used by students or researchers? Since a lot of them would prefer an open source free software instead of a licensed version.
Right. Divya, I'll take this question in a rather I will answer this question in a different angle. See, whenever there are certain development already being done on a very much tested platform, then always I encourage the students to use or test, or the research scholars also use or test those tested COTS platform, because open source is good for learning the development, all the kinds of development activities you have to do from the fresh in the open source platform. And most importantly, one of the rather all of the projects, nationwide projects, or all of the mission critical projects are done by the COTS software or commercial off the shelf software, or like to be more precise and easy method, the softwares made by the geospatial companies like Hexagon. So when a student learns any of these commercial softwares from these kind of multinational companies, it carries an automatic weightage in their CVs. So that's my number one take. So I would recommend them to use the commercial software as much as possible. Regarding the availability in terms of pricing and all, maybe they are having some questions in their mind. Always they can come back to us, so we will try to help them our utmost possible scenario, because we always prefer the student community, research community to be developed. That is one of our main motto. Number two, the Map Enterprise and Apollo and everything, these are not the open source platforms. These are developed by Hexagon, and the IPR belongs to Hexagon. But yes, it can connect with any kind of APIs. It can be integrated with any kind of services, so that basically it can work in a cross-platform mode.
Yeah. So thanks, Siddharthi. Just to clarify this a little bit more, we are supportive of open interoperable platforms. So all the platforms, this AMAP and Enterprise or Luciad or others, they are open platform and they are interoperable. So any kind of API integration that you want to do is possible in the platform. So and we can also tell you that the institutional pricing for this particular software, the set of software that we have provided, is pretty much subsidized, and is on the it is being taken care of, that the students and the researchers would use, the institutions would use. So you can always get back to us. We can give you a pricing, and we can definitely help you onboard this platform at a very cost-effective way.
Okay, somebody wants to know the number of licenses in a bundle that we provide.
Yes, the licenses, the bundles. Licenses are available as a single user basis or also on a bundle basis. We can bundle it in a multiple of 5. We can also offer you the licenses as a single user. So normally, when it comes to institutional purposes, they normally bundle it because it is being used in the GIS labs, and GIS labs must be having certain, workstations or certain workspaces where multiple licenses has to be installed. So normally we sell around 5 or 10 or maybe 20 or maybe 30 licenses, maybe 50 licenses, whatever is the requirement. But if anyone has a requirement of a licenses which is of single use, do get back to us. We will let you.
Iman. So the last question that we have is there a possibility to identify oxygen-rich area using GIS?
Yes, it's a nice question that somebody has asked. Basically, let me tell you, Hexagon has taken up one nice project which is called as the Blue Carbon Mission or R Revolution. So where we are, moving our research areas, as in the first of the few slides, we have said that we have blocked certain revenues, certain company revenues, typically for the R&D purposes. So we have an initiative called R Evolution. So where actually we are working on the oxygen rich areas, number one. Number two, the preservation or the increase of the blue carbon. So what is a blue carbon? Basically there are a few sea grasses which are there under the sea surfaces till that level where the sunlight reaches. So what we do, Hexagon has taken an initiative for mapping of those kind of grasses, those kind of sea surfaces using its own sensors and softwares and technologies. And we are also in a process to increase the blue carbon absorption things and also the oxygen rich areas. And also Hexagon has under art evolution is creating a lot of various green energy plants as well, so which will be environment friendly, and this is how Hexagon is contributing to the enrichment of the environment. So
Thanks, Niladri. Since we don't have any more questions, we will end the session for now. I will just take a moment to end the session. Thank you everyone for joining in. This concludes today's webinar. Please join me in thanking Anirban, Niladri, and Shashank for this informative session. Please note the email IDs that are displayed on your screen. In case you need any further information, feel free to reach out to them. We will also be sharing a recording of this session in case you wish to listen back to this webinar. We appreciate your time and hope you have found this webinar to be a valuable experience. Thank you.
thank you everyone.
Thank you, Divya. Thank you, Dadri, Shashank. Thank you, everyone.